I think to start that off, it becomes very important to understand the client's capabilities, logistically, how they're going to carry out value add or renovations. You know, have they really thought that through? The capital required to do so, who is going to do the work, the time frame involved, that cash flow isn't going to be generated from the asset. But then also, you know, it is part of our service to really unpack what the value is of that, because renovation has become such a, you know, talked about topic, such a, you know, household thing because of the block and things like this, that I think there's a common misconception that, you know, you go spend 20,000 on your property, you're making 40 without question. That's not the case. So there's a lot of background research into understanding if that's actually viable. And, you know, are you actually getting your money back? But more so than just getting your money back, are you getting 2 or 3 times for your dollar? So that all comes down to a lot of the, you know, these are just some of the questions we ask our clients that want to do a value add project. You know, there's a lot of experience between all of us with renovations. And, you know, Mark, you'll have a book that you could write about renovations and value adding.
Yeah, it's sort of like, you know, what available capital, what's your desired outcome, really from that value add. Once again, you talk about what's the time you can devote to that, what's the skill, what's the knowledge you have in relation to that. Are you insourcing all works? Are you outsourcing all works? Because that'll have a distinct difference on cost. But, you know, for me, going through the range of projects over many years, it's always been the highest perceived value at the lowest possible cost. Now, do we start at the front end of once we buy and we work out what we're going to spend to get to the end outcome and hope we get to that? Absolutely not. We're looking at asset by asset basis with the particular scope involved, but we're reverse engineering it with what we think we can achieve based on comparable data. Yeah. So we're looking at something it might be a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and we convert it into a three-bedroom and a 2-bathroom. What are the likely footprint related issues from a sewer perspective and water perspective, town water point of view? You know, what do we need to analyse to determine and understand the scope of that? And what we find is that quite quickly it becomes quite overwhelming. Very overwhelming for people that lack the time, skill and knowledge. Once again, it's a concept, it's an idea, they've watched the block, they think it's easy because they make it look easy. And when you get knee deep into it, you realise that there's one problem after the next, and then it tests your real problem solving ability to determine, well, how do I get out of this situation now? But getting back to the point, it's always the highest perceived value at the lowest possible cost for me. So what are some of the key areas? You know, paint, liquid gold. That's the first port of call. It's floor coverings, it's blinds. You know, people talk about adding value to kitchens and bathrooms, absolutely, but they are the bigger ticket items. So it depends once again on your budget. So if you want to start with those bigger ticket items because you know the projections in uplift, absolutely start there. But don't have a U-Butte kitchen and a U-Butte bathroom and expect a U-Butte outcome if you've got holes in the floor and holes in the walls and these sorts of things. So working through the scope of works, very important to understand what are the priorities that are going to give you the biggest uplift in value at the lowest possible cost.
Yeah, and also understanding the market in which you're operating. You know, we don't need stone bench tops in some of these markets, you know. So it's really understanding what is going to, you know, create the desired finish that you need to achieve, whether it's, you know, the value uplift or the rental uplift or both.
So what's one idea that you can give to anyone listening here to understand, you know, that desirability?
Bunnings $99 timber bench tops.
Yep, and I'm going to go deeper than that again. That's a great idea because it's cheaper than stone, absolutely. So that can be overcapitalisation in most areas. Yeah. But what we've got is that we have the greatest asset at our disposal, being property managers and or sales agents, to understand what the market is actually demanding at that point in time. So do they want a 3-bedroom, 1-bath? Do they want a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom? So really tapping into that on the ground knowledge. You don't have to have it all figured out. You know, the power of the team, the power of the network within that team is your greatest asset.